You can see my presentation, right?
Yeah, it works well. Thank you.
Hello everyone. My name is Omer. I'm from UNESCO. I'm project manager at UNESCO in education sector section of education policy. I'm mainly working on education finance projects. So I'm going to present today the findings that we out like findings that of the series of expert group meetings that we organized in November and December last year. As you see that since I'm working in education finance, education systems now are under big financial constraints. ODA fell last year around in 2024 and 6%. There's a debt pressures on countries now. We're like 2.5 billion people are living in a countries where the debt payments are higher than either health or education. So, and also we're at the same time seeing that 80% of in look at the middle and low income countries, around 80% of education spending goes to the teacher salaries. So we're just like a little bit constrained here, but at the same time, the governments, especially many governments in sub-Saharan Africa, are eager to use and implement emerging digital tools, especially just been getting faster with AI discussions. So just a little bit some like a little bit fast the trends. The digital adoption, as David a little bit mentioned, has been scaled and extremely fast after the COVID-19. Digital shipments surged and many systems turned to remote learning almost overnight, right? And this rapid adoption is not the same as a sustainable value because after the countries more and more buy tools, and we see that this is also not only the device but also licenses, cloud services, maintenance has been add up onto existing costs. Also, we're just having like now more and more political wins just moves against digital integration in education. So which created a little bit digital paradox here, and technology creates new opportunities in education, but also introduce distraction, dependency, the risk to the well-being. That's why more than half of countries in the last GEM numbers now have national bans on mobile phones in schools, and it became a political problem as well. And we also see like this is like a mixed different the mixed outcomes in terms of like the impact of the exposure to screen and the impact on the in PISA scores and maths and learning. Um, it does not mean that exposure to screens automatically better learning. An OECD analysis recently shows that the moderate use of digital devices outside school can be associated with stronger mathematic performance, but excessive use is linked to weaker performances and lower sense of belonging at school. We are also seeing that global inequality in terms of access to internet is still a problem. Although it's we are just seeing a shrinking gap in terms of like accessing the internet. When we compare high income and low income countries, there's a still huge gap. And in one of the discussions, one of the professors also indicated that in order to close this gap, we need 100 years, and if we follow the same speed. We're also seeing that governments face a capability gap as a major bias, and because now we are seeing more and more tech companies are racing each other to become a monopoly in their domain. But on the other hand, we are seeing like the governments are major buyers in education, dominant buyers in educations, what we call them monopsonies. So on the one hand, tech companies are heavily specialized and getting more powerful, but at the same time, governments do not improve their capacity in negotiation capacity, specifically with tech companies in buying tools. Also, again, what David beautifully explained, we need we lack rigorous evaluation. We still have a big discussions on how to make rigorous evaluation with a limited cost, because tech companies do not want to wait and long evaluations until they start selling their tools. So this is also another challenge that we're facing. So against these challenges, we decided to organize a series of expert group meetings. And we are planning to publish the outcomes of these expert group meetings as an upcoming report titled Pixel and Payoffs, Smart Investments for Education in Age of AI and Digital Transformation. We said intentionally investment for education, not in digital tools or digital transformation, because we're seeing that solutions sometimes are not in digital transformation or tools or digital technologies, but sometimes investing in supporting materials, trainings, and also like the means that empower teachers can also make significant improvements in education systems. So we had a list of different questions in terms of what worked in looking at the previous examples to widen access to and qualitative learning. And what are the cost-effective solutions in digital transformations, and what are their alternatives? And also, we looked for different approaches for improving the productivity of education system using digital transformation. And we grouped the list, the recommendations of expert into six different pillars. And I'm going to go one by one this pillar right now. So, as a first message, experts told that education systems should treat technology as a part of long-term resilience, right? We saw during the pandemic, we saw the very good examples in terms of the access, improving access to remote areas and different communities. And also, we are seeing that digital tools can lower costs. It can expand the access. It can improve administration, and especially through open resources and mobile access, because now the um, 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 cost of moving one material to using digital technologies is getting lower, because more and more people have access to their mobile phones. Also, not only this, also television, radio, all the access, different routes of access has been improved in recent decades. And the central idea here is that yes, we should continue consider investing technology and digital transformation, but we should first prioritize investment in human capacity. So no matter which ways we're investing in education, we should always prioritize the improvements in human capacity, and the digital transformation should only be the mean to reach this goal. Also, the success of digital transformation depends on how technology is chosen and integrated then on the tools themselves, right? And when schools simply layer 21st century technology onto 20th century pedagogy or outdated teaching methods, they often reproduce existing problems instead of solving them. So the past device-centered initiatives, as David also showed in previous, some of the examples in previous slides, they often they showed that the more access to hardware does not automatically lead to better learning outcomes. So in this case, the another major theme here is that the learning no longer stops at school gate, right? Digital transformation is shaped by what happens at home and in the community. Also for the construction, like electricity connectivity, quite um, shape the environment. Also, the study space at home, parental support, mental health, online safety, these are all affect the mental health and also learning outcomes, educational outcomes of students. The recurring theme during the meetings were a required shift from a technology-driven approach to a pedagogy-driven one. The first question should be what learners need to do and learn, and not and only then which tools can support that goal. So here, I think the one of the most important issues that we should also discussing that whether the governments also know what they want from tech companies. Not only what tech companies can sell, but also governments should know what they need before reaching out to those companies. So the second message that's been given during these meetings was sustainable digital transformation must start with context. Technology from high-income settings cannot simply be transferred into low resource environments and expect to work. Because you're seeing that in many countries, there's still a weak electricity problem, limited connectivity, also uneven teacher preparation or access to tools. So not all solutions can work. We should not expect that all solutions can work everywhere. Also, the technology should not be used to preserve outdated teaching models, as I previously mentioned in the previous slide. Um, but real transformation requires redesigning how learning is organized. So instead of spending time to adapt like the new tools, very old, the teaching and pedagogy, we should consider harmonizing these two together by redefining and restructuring old pedagogy and learning ways. Also, at this point, another message articulated during the meeting was the value of local entrepreneurship and localization, right? Because if we can do this through bottom-up co-construction with teachers, with school leaders, with learners, families, they should not only be consumers and users of the products, but together with the local implementers, they can help define the problems. They can also design the decisions while even like creating tools. And the third message was on teachers. Many teachers feel anxious about digital change. They don't fear, I guess, about whether AI take their jobs from them, but rather they feel frustrated because they don't have enough training for effective use of the tech tools. Because we all know that technology can assist with parts of their work, but cannot replace the core relationship between teacher and learner. So I think we also during the discussions it's been realized that actually the main source of anxiety or shame or whatever you call it, whatever emotion you call it, that teachers face is feeling is not coming from whether they lose their job, but is coming from they're not feel themselves empowered enough with vis-a-vis the digital technologies. So in many countries now, we see that different ways of trainings of teachers, whether it's a peer networks, local teacher leaders, and also digital technologies can also help this networking much cost-friendly and like through messaging apps, like online groups or like platforms, which can reduce professional isolation of teachers and make it easier to exchange the ideas about how to use technology and discuss these classroom problems together. The fourth message during the meetings, participants suggested promoting certain proven pedagogical solutions. So they highlighted that technology should multiply proven pedagogy. It should not replace it. It should not replace it with something that's not been proven enough. So the major suggestion, especially, is this mismatch between grade level systems and real learning systems levels of students. Many classrooms include children with different abilities, yet teaching often moves at the pace of the syllabus. So technology is providing different solutions for personalized learning, and especially for the students who are not at the same level of of their level as in terms of like educational levels, technology can give a very significant improvement. Also, another point that's been made is early literacy. When we look at the highest cost of returns in education, we're seeing that investments in early childhood care and care. So, and in many instances, we saw or the participants highlighted that solutions in early literacy and foundational learning is very important. And the last point is that we should not think only about high-tech solutions while considering investing in digital transformation, but also we are seeing more and more that frugal solutions can make significant improvements, like personalized SMS lessons, to text messages to parents, and phone calls, and different very small ways can improve significantly the educational outcomes. I'm just moving a little bit fast. Equity, we just been this message was this: equity must be designed from the start, not after the digital tools been created. So digital tools, in a sense, that should be born accessible rather than they should be added at all in the later stages. And maybe I should move a little bit fast here because it's been kind of a long, maybe do this discussion later. So there's also big discussions about this relationship between governments and the tech companies, and how to make the standards, procurement standards, in a high way, by promoting open standards, accountability, and data interoperability between actors. And maybe we can discuss this later. Thanks so much.